Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to NDTV. We are live from Peoria, Illinois, and Notre Dame High School for the first of two games this evening. My name is Jim Lynch. Alongside me is my partner, Mike Plunkett. Mike, how are you?
Jim, I'm doing well. It seems like we've been here quite a bit. We're with our second night.
Second night in a row, 2 out of 3 nights.
2 out of 3 nights in a row.
And then tonight we are very excited to welcome the Purple Raiders of Bloomington High School for the first again of two games. We'll start with our sophomore teams, followed by the varsity game. And we're minutes away, minutes and 10, 9, 8, 7 seconds away from Mr. Cummings introducing, starting with our pregame prayer, followed by the national anthem, and then we'll get the starting lineups for you right away. So, folks, we're going to take a break here, turn things over to John Cummings to get us started for tonight's competition. We'll be right back.
Heavenly Father, to you we give all praise and thanksgiving. You have blessed us with your bountiful gifts. Help us to use them for your honor. Send forth your grace and abundance upon all gathered for this basketball game. Allow all of our gifts and talents to shine forth in a Christian way. Especially bless these teams, coaches, and referees. Protect all from injury and harm. Allow your peace to always reign in our hearts. We ask this through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Good afternoon.
Okay, folks, as Mr. Cummings introduces tonight's starting lineups, I will turn it over to Coach Plunkett to do the same.
Thanks, Jim. It seems like every time we're playing a boys' game in this gym, we're talking about playing a traditional, basketball school. It's had a lot of history, and Bloomington's had a lot of recent history of some state tournament appearances in the last, 5-6 years, and we were just kind of reminiscing about how good they've been over historically. Here's their starting lineups under the direction of Bob Perkins. We got number 10, a 6'1 sophomore, Marcus Griffin. A 6'5 sophomore, number 11, Jaylani Stevens. A 5'11 freshman, number 15, Zach Spindle. 6'3 freshman guard, 25, Nico Newsom. And a 6'2 freshman forward, number 34, A.J. Tillman. That'll round out the starting lineup for the Purple Raiders. And now let's meet the Irish. Irish sophomores under the direction of Jason Whalen, assisted by Bill Blackford, Stephen Bradshaw, Jay Whalen. We have number 10, a freshman, Teddy Demler.
A 6'2 freshman forward,
number 20, another freshman, Tommy Graham.
A 6'8 freshman forward,
and a 6'8 freshman forward, number 33, Cooper Koch.
A 6'8 freshman forward,
a 6'8 freshman forward, 34, Lathan Somerville.
And a 5'9 freshman sophomore guard, number 11.
And a 5'9 sophomore guard, number 11, Jacob Johnson. So a little adjustment in our starting line for the sophomores. We're going with a little more size tonight. Going with really the one true guard. In the when it seems like when we have Johnson and Woolsey both on the floor, you have really almost 2 point guards. And now maybe they're just going to go one at a time and
see how it goes.
See how it goes with a little more size.
And as we see, the Raiders will inbound on the sideline here, which is traditional right now in Illinois basketball rather than the jump ball. So we'll see Stevens inbound at number 15, Zach Spindle. And folks, we're underway. Ball is tipped. Raiders control it, and we'll get underway with a three-pointer from Nico Newsom. Raiders are on the board with a three right out of the gate.
That took about 9 seconds.
Dimmler
to get that shot off.
It didn't take long, and I think the Raiders are going to want to attack right away. Here comes Johnson with the ball near the top of the key, swings it to Dimmler. Dimmler in the corner to Koch. Koch gets it back to Graham. Graham swings it to Johnson. Johnson, Dimmler back in the corner. Dillon dribbles out, gets it to Graham. Gets inside quickly to Koch. Koch, layup is off the mark, and the Raiders get the rebound. We're coming back. That was Tillman with the rebound.
And we'll see how Bloomington attacks this matchup zone. On that first possession, they made a cross-court pass that Cooper almost had a chance to steal, and Newsom caught it and knocked down the three. On the other end, we're attacking what looked to be a 1-2-2 or a 3-2 zone. We'll see what their top man does for Bloomington. And we got a nice shot. It just didn't fall for Koch.
So again, we have an obstructed view right now with our official right here, but it's getting a little better now. So the Irish tipped it out underneath the Raiders basket, and they'll look to inbounds with Stevens inbounding it for Bloomington. They get inside, it's tipped again. Stevens tried to get it to teammate Griffin. And again, just tipped away, and Raiders will once again inbound it under their own basket. Raiders
just not a real good view for these the Bloomington kids when you're looking at 6'8" and 6'8", and Tommy Graham, who's I think listed as 6'2", maybe, is plays like he's 6'5" or 6'6".
He's every bit of 6'3". I think he's grown.
6'3". You're probably right.
Right. So they've got Spindle with the ball near the top of the key. Raiders patiently moving the ball around. Spindle with the ball again. No, I'm sorry, that was number 25, Newsom. Shots off the mark. Big rebound there inside. And fake for number 11, jump shot is off. Tillman with the rebound, block, big block. That was number 34, Lathan Somerville with the block. And here comes Koch dribbling it up. Gets it across to Dimler. Dimler in the corner. Good three-pointer for Teddy Dimler, and the Irish are on the board.
We couldn't get a couple of defensive rebounds. It's just, good hustle, good effort on the part of Bloomington. And but, we can negate that shot inside, just the fact that we have such size.
And again, that Irish defensive pressure continuing to pay dividends here and forces a over and back call. And I'll tell you right away, Coach Perkins, not liking what he's seeing, calls a timeout. And we'll get our first break in the action here. And again, we're tied up with 5:47 left to go in the first. Both teams hitting a three-pointer early. Good pressure from both sides. And we haven't seen the Irish much with the ball. But the Raiders certainly patient moving the ball around.
They have been. And just probably looking right now, Coach Perkins is probably just talking about how you want to attack this. It almost becomes a three-quarters court type thing. But what we really do in our defense is we push you right across half court. And then after that point, there's that trapping point, and he's going to make that emphasis. You got to get rid of the ball before you run into that trap.
So Koch gets inside to number 34, Somerville. He gets fouled going up, and the basket is good. Somerville is fouled. That foul's on number 34, A.J. Tillman. That is his first, team's first. And again, Somerville will go to line trying to complete the three-point play. Somerville's free throw is good, and the Irish increase their lead by 3 with 5:38 left here in the first. Nice move inside for number 11, but the shot fell short for Jaylani Stevens, and here come the Irish back the other way. Ball is knocked out by number 15, Zach Spindle. Irish will keep possession. And number 22, Charlie Woolsey, will check in for the Irish, getting his first action today, giving Ted Dimler a little breather. Johnson swings it to Woolsey. Woolsey looking inside, gets it back to Jake Johnson. Johnson gets inside to Tommy Graham. Tommy Graham to Lathan Somerville. Lathan Somerville getting his second basket of the game.
And with that size mismatch in there, if they continue to play behind Lathan, they're gonna have trouble, because Lathan has just gotten so much better at just his footwork and being able to create a shot out when his back's to the basket.
There's a great move for number 25, Nico Newsom. He gets his second basket of the game, and he's got 5 here in the first quarter. The only 5 for the Raiders right now. So Johnson with the ball near the top of the key, feeds Lathan again. And not the pass I think Coach Whalen's looking for from Somerville.
Well, a couple things there. One is, you know, if you're going to do it, you got to do it right away. But he threw it almost from his right shoulder, which is going to go over his head, and it's only got one direction to go, and that's up, where you've got to get the ball up and skip it down.
So we're 4:33 here left in the first quarter. That'll bring us to our first media timeout. The Irish lead 8-5 over the Raiders of Bloomington High School. And again, we're seeing, I think, what we expected from both these teams. Both very great traditional basketball programs, and both attacking, and both can attack the hoop, but both have great skill beyond the arc as well.
They do. I think both teams are, they're capable of making your perimeter shots, which in today's basketball you have to do. That's just a part of the game. But also, you've got to be able to handle the ball against the relentless, I'm talking for Bloomington, the relentless pressure you're going to get. And it's not like it's full court man-to-man in your face all game, but it's just our defense does not let an opponent breathe, so it's going to be a constant just a harassment to some degree. And the one thing that I've noticed here, there's just an awfully lot of talented freshmen on the floor here for both teams. Some nice looking freshmen, and so there's going to be mistakes. This is still
they're young still.
Yeah, and we're still not into what would traditionally be halfway part of their season game wise, as things are winding down. So just nice to see this much young talent.
So a nice move for number 11, Jelani Stevens, towards the hoop, but in the ensuing pass, it went out of bounds on the Irish ball. And I forgot to mention that number 14, Sam Rank, has checked in for the Raiders. Ball goes inside to Koch. He gets it to Graham and back out. And there's a 3 for Jacob Johnson. It is good. And Johnson's on the board with his first basket of the game.
That's always a good sign when you see Jacob knock down that first shot.
Just under 4 minutes to go here in the first. The Irish lead 11-5, and there's that Irish pressure. Number 25, Nico Newsom, trapped, gets the ball knocked off of the Irish, and they'll keep the ball with the Raiders.
Yeah, we'll be saying that a lot tonight. There's going to be a lot of trapping. Going to see active hands. If they get them in a spot to where they're going to make them uncomfortable. Right there, you catch the ball, and you got 6'8" coming out at and closing out with hands up.
And that's 6'8", not on the baseline. That's 6'8".
On the perimeter.
On the perimeter.
So it's just not easy. You're not gonna be able to get a good view of the basket. Got a little ahead of himself.
Zach Spindle gets called for traveling. He'll go back to the Irish. We'll have a substitution here. Number 1, Barry Preston, checking in for the Raiders. Giving number 15, Zach Spindle, a breather here. Charlie Woolsey inbounds it to Jacob Johnson. Johnson gets it back to Woolsey. Gets it down near the corner to Graham. Graham gets it to Koch in the middle. Koch, nice pass inside to Somerville. That's a beautiful assist from Koch to Somerville. Somerville finishes.
And that's a shot Cooper can make. And it said he saw that Lathan had a better shot and he gave it up. That's so indicative of what this program, not just his team, this program. And then Lathan returns it back to Tommy Graham.
And Tommy Graham gets his first basket of the game here. And again, we talk about the generosity that you'll see throughout the Irish team here. As Somerville received on the one end, gave it right back to his teammate Tommy Graham on the other, just like you said. Nice move inside from Jelani Stevens. He layup didn't fall though, and Irish will come back the other way. Koch gets in the corner, and there's Woolsey. And again, Graham gives it right back to Somerville. Somerville not quite able to finish, and it goes out of bounds on the Raiders.
Yeah, just an excellent pass by Graham at that point. We're obviously not going to make them all, but if you're making those plays, your chances of making shots sure do increase.
Absolutely. Number 10, Teddy Dimler, checks in for the Irish, along with number 23, Owen Dillon, getting his first action of the day. Pass comes in to number 34, Lathan Somerville. He gets fouled on the shot. Shot goes, and he's going to line again to try to complete the three-point play. Again, that's the second time that Somerville's been able to draw the foul on number 34, A.J. Tillman. That'll be Tillman's second foul, team's second foul. Free throws off the mark there for Somerville, but again, Somerville doing a wonderful job inside the lane here.
Well, two things. We're getting the ball to him in spots where he's going to be able to score and doesn't have to try to do too much with it, and he's, for the most part, converting those.
So there's A.J. Tillman on the jump shot. Somerville does a nice job of closing out, just a little too much contact on the shot, and Somerville will pick up his first. It'll be the team's first, and A.J. Tillman will go to line shooting 2 shots.
Yeah, the one thing coaches are always going to say is don't foul the shooter.
Tillman's first free throw is off the mark. And we do have a substitution, but it appears to be for the shooter, so we'll get you that name and number here in just a second. Tillman at the line taking his second, and that is good. Tillman's on the board. And number 42, Dixon Fraker, checking in for the Raiders.
And after that made free throw, Bloomington's coming out in a little full court pressure.
And again, a little too much, Sam Rink giving a little too much business down there to Ted Dimler as he comes up the sideline and pushes him out of bounds. And so Sam Rink will pick up his first foul. Team's third. Ball comes in, and the Raiders are giving a little full court pressure right now.
Yeah, I like this. When they, after the free throw, they went into full court pressure. They stayed with it even on the out of bounds. I like it. I think you switch things up on a free throw, on a timeout, start of a quarter.
There's Lathan working hard underneath the basket, gets fouled again. Somerville doing a great job tipping the ball to himself underneath the hoop. Goes up strong, draws the foul, and he'll be at the line again.
He's just very active tonight. He's not letting them really get a body on him to block him out. He's just so active, and he's got great hands.
So that foul was on Jaylani Stevens, his first, team's fourth, and Somerville's at the line shooting 2 shots. First one's off the mark. He'll get one more. And we're just under 2 minutes here, folks, with the Irish leading 17-6 over the Raiders or Bloomington High School.
Yeah, this early in the game, and this is already Lathan's third trip to the free throw line.
Second free throw's off the mark. Ball is tipped by Dimler, and it'll go the Raiders' way. And we'll have Sam Rink inbounding it for Bloomington. So Rink with the ball.
There's that trap. Nice job getting out of it.
Nice move by Stevens. Jump shots off the mark. Somerville with another rebound. Gets it to Koch. Koch leading the charge up for the Irish. Kicks it to Woolsey. Woolsey to Dimler. Dimler brings it near the top of the key. Swings it across to Woolsey, left-hand side of the court. Gets out to Somerville at 3. Somerville for 3, off the mark. And the Raiders get the rebound. Number 25, Nico Newsom, bringing it up for the Raiders. It's poked by Woolsey. He gets it over to Dimler. Dimler attacks. Layup is missed, but there's Somerville with the putback. That's off the mark. And number 42, Fraker gets the rebound. And Raiders come back the other way. And I'll tell you right there, Barry Preston did a nice job there of seeing Dillon moving and drawing the foul on Dillon. That is Owen Dillon's first foul, team's second. And number 20, Tommy Graham, will check back in for the Irish, giving Lathan Somerville his first break of the day.
I was just thinking that Lathan probably just a little gas. He's been playing hard. He's been working hard, getting up and down the floor.
Absolutely.
If he's tired, he's earned it.
He's absolutely earned it, and I suspect he'll get some minutes in our varsity game
as
well.
So. Without a doubt.
So a nice move from Preston. He kicks it out to number 14, Sam Rink. Sam Rink swings it around. They get inside to Jaylani Stevens. The floater's off the mark, and Koch with the rebound. Koch leads the charge up for the Irish. At the top of the key, swings it to Dillon. Dillon for 3, off the mark. And number 14, Sam Rink with the rebound. Ball is tipped. Dillon steals it.
Great job of not panicking with the ball there. Let the defense clear. We got plenty of time.
Woolsey with the ball near the top of the key, gets it out inside to Dillon. Dillon gets it inside to Koch. 3 balls off the mark for Dimler, and there's Tommy Graham with a nice rebound. Dillon swings it to Woolsey, swings it to Dimler, inside to Graham, back outside to Koch for 3, off the mark. Dillon gets the rebound, goes up strong, and draws the foul. Dillon wanted to kick it back out, thought better of it when he realized nobody's closing
Nobody was
out,
near him.
and he goes up strong. I think if he had just turned and gone right up right away, it might have been an easier shot. But
we're just really active on the offensive boards tonight, more so than I've seen this in recent games.
Number 23, Owen Dillon hits his first three. And number 10, Marcus Griffin, and number 34, A.J. Tillman will check back in for the Raiders. Dillon will go to line to shoot his second free throw, which is good. So
just make sure they get the ball up in front of them, and if they make one of these, they've earned it. And he didn't miss it by much.
Did not miss it by much. A couple of inches there. So at the end of one, Notre Dame 19, Bloomington 6. Coach, initial thoughts on that first quarter?
I just think that Coach Whalen's got to be very, very pleased with the defense. They come out and hit a three 9 seconds into the game, and they've scored 3 points since then. So he's got to be very, very happy with how we're playing defense. And again, just how active we are. We're defensively, we're cleaning up the boards pretty well, and then on offense, we're not shooting the ball exceptionally well from the outside. We've hit a couple threes early, but what we're missing, we're seem to be tracking it down pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in that first quarter there, we have Latham Somerville with, I think it's 9 of our 19, and then a couple of threes, one from Teddy Dimler and one from Jacob Johnson. The Irish are doing a great job here. And here, folks, we have our Notre Dame cheerleaders doing an exceptional job performing. We'll enjoy the rest of their performance here. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, that's our Notre Dame cheerleading squad doing an excellent job.
And before we get into the second quarter, I did have one of the freshmen who dressed in varsity that I think you know, a kid by the name of Elliot Lynch, came over and said, make sure that everybody knows it's my dad's birthday today. We want to tell Mr. Lynch happy birthday.
Well, thank you very much, Coach. I appreciate that.
I think he's finally turned 40, if I'm not mistaken, and we'll stick with that, right?
Every bit of that.
Because
every
I'm
bit of
young.
That and a couple more.
That's right.
That and a couple more. But thank you very much, Coach. I appreciate it.
You're just kind of a typical, coach, father of athletes. You spend your birthday in a gym.
Oh, that's very true, and I couldn't be happier. Very happy where I am today, and very happy to be spending it with everybody here at Notre Dame. So the Irish miss the first shot coming out here in the second quarter, and the Raiders attack right away. But there's Owen Dillon with the steal.
Good awareness to know that defense was coming up behind him.
And just pulled it out and stopped the charge. Right. So Joseph Williams has checked in for the Irish. Irish lose a handle on it. There's A.J. Tillman tracking it down.
And Preston got a hand on that ball and made a nice play.
And number 10, Teddy Dimler, is going to get called for a blocking foul here. That'll be his first, team's third.
Bloomington's had pretty good football success over the years as well. And I look at a kid like Preston. I saw another kid warming up. He looks like a football player. He is very strong. Just a good-looking athlete.
So Griffin gets it up to number 15, Zach Spindle. Spindle swings it over to Preston. Preston looking to attack, pulls it back out, gets it out to Spindle out. Free throw line extended. Spindle with a nice move towards the baseline. It's trapped. And there's again Owen Dillon. Very quick hands. Knocks it out of bounds.
And again, we have our our two biggest kids out of the game. We're still big.
Yeah.
We're still big with.
You still have 6'3" and 6'5" on the court.
That's right. And long.
Yeah.
And then again, Demler's another one like Graham that plays much bigger than what he is.
So nice move from number 10, Marcus Griffin, towards the baseline. Doesn't get far. Here's number 42 inside. Throws up a tough shot. That's number 42, Dixon Fraker, makes a nice move.
He earned that. That was not an easy shot. That was a great defense on our part.
So Joseph Williams with the ball. Dribbles towards the corner, swings it out to Dimler. Dimler gets inside to Dillon. Dillon gets hit on the wrist, and we're going to have a foul here on the Raiders. Appears to be on number 42.
Just hearing our coaches saying, just don't bring the ball down. If you're 6'5" or whatever you are, you bring the ball down to your waist, you've just gotten a lot shorter.
And that is that appeared to be Ted Dimmler, who got that rebound off of that missed three, and nice strong move up to the hoop, and I think that's going to be on number 34, A.J. Tillman. That'll be his third. Nope, I apologize. That's Marcus Griffin. That's his first. I think team 7. Teddy Dimmler's at the line, shooting the first of his 2 shots. Knocks down the first one.
And again, just our activity on the offensive boards created that. You know, guys like Dimmler and Graham just are nonstop motion, moving around the boards.
Dimmler knocks down his second. He now has 5 for the first half here. Again, Koch and Somerville check back in for the Irish.
There's an over and back call.
And that'll be the second one. Again, we talk about that matchup zone that the Irish love to run here, and it just forces turnover after turnover. And again, the Raiders are struggling a little bit, not only with that zone, but understanding court awareness, where they are, and that over in the back.
Yeah, if you're going to reverse the ball, you want to try to do it before you hit half court.
Right.
But in all fairness, another great play by Koch getting the ball to Somerville.
Absolutely, and Somerville gets fouled again, and he'll go and finishes the shot. So another and one for Lathan Somerville. This will be his third of the game. I didn't catch who that foul was on. I believe it was on number 25, Nico Newsom, his first, team's 8th. Somerville completes the 3-point play. He's having a nice game there, number 34, Lathan Somerville.
And what makes it tough to do that ball reversal is the job Dimmler does. Because again, you're in that spot there, that's just no man's land.
And
great
again,
job getting out of that trap.
Number 34, A.J. Tillman, just sitting back, waiting for the ball. Nobody was back covering him. And the Raiders did a good job knowing where all 5 of their players are. We're down to 5:25 left here in the second quarter. Irish lead 24-10. And here come the Raiders back the other way after a missed jump shot from Tommy Graham.
And really, when you play the defense that we play, and you're looking to trap so aggressively like we do, every now and then you're going to give up a layup like we did on that last possession. We'll take that trade-off for what we get, the benefits we get from the way we trap.
Number 22, Charlie Woolsey, and number 32, Elliot Lynch, have checked in for the Irish, and number 11, Jaylani Stevens, have checked in for the Raiders. Number 25 there, that's, nope, not number 25, that's number 15. Zach Spindle got a little excited there with the ball and just took an extra step.
He did. That was all just a little ahead of himself.
He knew what he wanted to do, and his mind moved before his body. Or actually, I think his body moved before his mind and just got called for it. So the ball comes in to Somerville. Somerville with a nice pass to Koch. And Koch finishes. Again, the Irish continue to show generosity with the ball. And Koch is on the board.
That's Koch's first basket, and he's been such an important factor in this game. It just goes to show points are just a small part of what we're doing here. So Cooper's just had his hand in a lot of good things that have happened for us this game.
So Stevens with the ball down in the corner. Gets it out to Newsom. Newsom for 3. It's good. Nico Newsom with his second three-pointer of the game. Closes the lead to 13, 26-13. Irish with 4:23 here in the second quarter. Ball is poked away by the Raiders.
We're going to go into our officials' timeout, I believe. Either that or Mr. Kenny has an itch on the top of his head.
Mr. Kenny is hitting the top of his head and letting everybody know at 4:17 here in the second quarter, we will go into our media timeout. Again, folks, it's 26-13. The Irish do lead over the Raiders of Bloomington, and we've got a nice game here. The Raiders will not go quietly.
No, they're gonna battle, and they've got some guys who can knock down threes, and you knock down a couple of those, and all of a sudden you get back in this thing a lot quicker.
Absolutely. So, folks, coming up next, we do want to remind you that after this game, we'll have the varsity contest between these schools, and that'll be another fantastic game. It doesn't matter, again, records may show you that Bloomington's struggling this year. That doesn't matter.
No.
It's certainly in the Big 12 conference, records mean very little.
Yeah, records showed that Normal West was struggling a little bit too, and it took us an overtime and some late game heroics from Nelson Reynolds knocking down a few threes.
Absolutely.
And then Noah with a three-point play to put it in overtime. It just you take nothing for granted in this conference. Every game out, it is a battle.
So
Hey, before we move on, do you want to introduce our third man of our broadcast team tonight?
We've got a four-man crew here, but our third man at the table right now is our technical director, Eamon Lynch, is sitting with us at the table, calling the shots, making sure that we're keeping everything in line. So we appreciate Eamon sitting with us. He's quiet here on the mic, but doing a great job. Thank you, young Mr. Lynch. So Koch gets it into Lynch. Lynch kicks it out to Woolsey. Gets it over to Koch. We got a 3-try from Dimmler. Off the mark. Dimmler gets his own rebound. Gets it to Lynch. Lynch swings it to Dimmler. Dimmler to Woolsey, to Koch in the corner. And the ball's poked away and stolen as they try to get it to Somerville. A.J. Tillman showing his hustle. 3 balls up and short. That was I think, number 24.
I believe it was.
Deontay Lewis taking the shot there. Deontay Lewis is checked in for the Raiders. Dimmler brings it up, gets it to Woolsey. Woolsey gets it to Somerville, back to Woolsey. Woolsey gets a wide open lane. Nice move for Charlie Woolsey, and he's on the board with his first bucket of the game.
And you know what Charlie does so well is he'll hesitate just that little bit. And you get the defense just kind of back on their heels, and then he'll explode by him. Just I've talked about this all season, but just the way that Woolsey and Johnson play the game, I love it. It's just kind of old school. They're so fundamentally sound. They're both smart players. They're tough players. They play hard. Those are the kind of things that, every team's going to have your stars, your superstars, all these things, but you've got to have these guys that are these glue pieces, and those guys are, and plus they're both very skilled.
Right. Number 11, Jacob Johnson is checked back in for the Irish. Number 15, Zach Spindle is in for the Raiders. And number 14, Sam Rink is also in for the Raiders. Ball comes in to Somerville. Somerville gets it stripped, and here come the Raiders the other way. Number 25, Nico Newsom with a nice move through the lane, but gets it swatted by Somerville. And Raiders are doing a good job hustling after it. There's a 3-ball for number 15, Zach Spindle. Nice look, and he's on the board for the first time tonight. Zach Spindle with a 3. Ball comes into Koch.
And what Lathan just has to be aware of is getting the ball in the lane. He's 6'8". Spindle is 5'11". As soon as Lathan brings the ball down to his waist, he and Spindle become the same size.
So there's a running floater for Jacob Johnson's off the mark, and the Raiders will come back the other way. We're approaching the 2-minute mark here in the second quarter. And there's a nice move by A.J. Tillman. He gets his second bucket of the game. And they've closed this lead to 10 for the Irish.
Once again, they've got some really nice-looking freshmen that be fun to watch play. I wouldn't want to be coaching against them, but it'd be fun watching them play down the road.
Johnson for 3, off the mark. Oh, and Lynch almost poked the ball away there from number 11, Stevens, but not able to get a handle on it here. Oh, nice block there from Koch. Raiders are able to hold on to it. Tillman with the ball. Gets it over to Stevens. Stevens swings it to Rink. And Stevens looks to set things back up for the Raiders. Nice defense there from Woolsey, keeping Stevens out of lane. Rink with the ball. They get it inside to Stevens. Stevens with a nice move.
He stepped out of bounds.
That's a wonderful move, just skirted the line there. And we're going to get a substitution here. Number 20, Tommy Graham, and number 23, Owen Dillon, checking in for Lynch and Somerville. Again, you take out 6'5" and 6'9", and you put in 6'5" and 6'3", 6'4". I mean, again, just height and talent continue to rotate in and out for the Irish.
Yeah, we create matchup problems for everybody we play, and plus, everybody can pretty much play about any position on the floor for us.
That's a nice 3 for Dillon. Is off the mark. He gets it across court to Johnson after the Irish control the rebound. Johnson swings it out to Woolsey. Woolsey can't control it, but they get it inside to Graham. Nice passing here. Oh, big block there for the Raiders. And the ball's tipped away. And Coach
Who was that, Newsom? Was that Newsom?
Yeah, that was number 25.
Excellent
yes,
block.
Nico Newsom with a big block there for the Raiders.
And we did everything. We moved the ball. The ball didn't hit the floor. We did everything well. And sometimes, you do things right, and defensive effort is just superior. And that was.
They were right there at the right time. And number 10, Marcus Griffin, and number 42, that's Dixon Fraker, have checked in for the Raiders. Nice move by Woolsey through the lane, gets it out to Cooper Koch. Koch swings it to Jacob Johnson. Johnson over to Dillon. I think the Irish may just work this for the last shot here in the half. Dillon drives, swings it to Johnson.
They just said make 11 shoot it. Guess what?
Yes.
He'll make you pay.
We will do that. We will let 11 shoot it. Jacob Johnson for 3 to end the half.
I'll tell you what. I think it's the second quarter in a row that number 15. Has it been 15 both times? Or might have been ranked the first quarter, but.
Absolutely. Great last second shot there. So we've got a great great halftime performance coming up eventually, but we're going to have a performance here eventually. Sorry, I'm getting some notes handed to me, and so that's going to once we can share some. I'm sorry, folks. We're getting news added here. And I think it's going to happen right now. So I'm happy to share with you that Clara Berg, who is the feature baton twirler, is performing her senior performance this evening. And she has been accepted to be the feature twirler at St. Ambrose University. So I'm very, very, very excited to introduce to you tonight Ms. Berg, who will be going on to St. Ambrose next year. So we're going to take a little break here to enjoy this incredible performance.
And I'm sure Mr. Cummings will give her an introduction and get her on the floor. And that's not easy to do. Go out by yourself on this floor and do something like that.
Absolutely. So we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
The baton twirler is performing her senior performance. She's been accepted to be the feature of the twirler at St. Ambrose University. A great round of applause for Clara Berg.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, that was senior Clara Berg, who's the feature twirler for Peoria Notre Dame, and is heading to St. Ambrose next year with her senior performance here. What an incredible job she just did.
That might be the most impressive thing we see this evening. So
yeah, that was unbelievable, and I just giggling with joy for her, because again, just a smile on her face and the incredible talent that she just shared with all of us was something special. So
yeah, when you're out there by yourself, it is just
goodness.
not an easy thing to do at all. When it's all you, and she nailed it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we've got about approaching 6.5 minutes here in halftime. The Irish do lead 31-18 over the Raiders of Bloomington. And Coach, initial thoughts on this game?
You look up and you say we're up 13, and you come kind of wonder sometimes, well, we haven't made a ton of shots from outside. Jacob, knocked down that 3 at the end after I'm sure he heard their bench say, let 11 shoot. And I'm thinking, yeah, let 11 shoot.
We'll take that any day.
We'll take that from the Notre Dame perspective. But, you kind of look up and say, we're 13 up. How did that happen? Well, we're just very solid on defense. 18 points in a half is an excellent half. That becomes 36 for a game. You give up 36 points in a game, you're going to win most of those games. But just our effort on the offensive boards, and we've missed some of those shots. We're finding a way to get a second, third shot. And, the biggest thing is on your trips down the floor, how many times you score, not so much what your shooting percentage is as much as it is, are we scoring every time down? And we've done a nice job with that because, again, without making a ton of, other than 3 threes, but not making a ton of I'd say, mid-range shots.
Right.
It's been kind of a putback, an inside move by Somerville, or a 3 has been our offense tonight. We're still scoring a lot of points in spite of that.
Well, as we mentioned before, the Raiders are led by an incredible effort by Nico Newsom. He's got 2 threes and another field goal there in the first quarter. He's got 8. A.J. Tillman, I wouldn't say that he's slow to get out of the gate. He's hampered a little bit here with a couple of fouls. He actually thought he picked up his third foul, but it was charged to Marcus Griffin there under the basket on a foul on Ted Dimler. But again, he's starting to warm up a little bit. And again, A.J. Tillman will always be a force at any part of the court. And again, as he starts to warm up, could be a game changer there for the Raiders. But again, Newsom with the 8. Tillman's got 5. Spindle hit a 3 there, and then again, I believe it's Dixon Fraker who also picked up a 2 there in the first quarter.
Correct.
And then on the other side of the ball, again, we mentioned Lathan Somerville just cannot be stopped in the lane today. He's got 12 on the day, if I'm not mistaken. That's there in the first half with 3 and 1 opportunities. He completed 2 of them, and the third one he missed one of those free throws. But again, he's just a force to be reckoned with there inside.
And the fact that we know that and we're getting the ball to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, again, I don't want to step on your toes talking stats. Cooper Koch only has 2 points. You look at that and say, God, Cooper's only got 2. Well, he's been a factor in most of Lathan's baskets,
absolutely.
I think, just some of the feeds and the offensive boards. And we've been doing a lot with Cooper at the high post against his zone and giving the ball to him and let him operate in there. And he's getting the ball to people in spots where they can score.
Absolutely. And then, in addition to Lathan and Jacob Johnson with his 2 threes, we've got another 5 or 6 guys who have scored. Teddy Dimler with 5. I believe Teddy does have 5. And then we have Tommy Graham with a bucket. We have Charlie Woolsey with another bucket. Owen Dillon hit 2 free throws. And then you mentioned Cooper's basket as well. So, again, the Irish able to spread it out a little bit among their many, many talented players. And they've got a nice 13-point lead here heading into the second half. But again, 13 points can be eaten up pretty quickly here with Bloomington's talent on the floor.
Yeah, certain styles of game you look at and say 13-point lead is almost insurmountable. Not in this game. The way their capability of probably creating some things on defense, knocking down some threes, and just some of their kids that seem to start getting into the flow of the game as things went on. So another thing, I'd really be interested to see how many of our baskets have been assisted on tonight. It seems like quite a few of them have been.
I would say the great majority of them.
Which is, the coaches love that. That's
absolutely.
A big part of it.
Especially at this age. So, folks, we're just under 3 minutes to go here in halftime. We're going to take a couple-minute break here because we know you're tired of hearing of us or hearing from us. But, again, we're looking forward to getting the second half underway. And don't forget, coming up right after this, we will bring you the varsity teams from both of these schools, and that should be a fantastic game. So stay with us. We'll see you in just about 2 minutes.
Get the expert orthopedic care you need when you need it. Skip the ER and come to Midwest Ortho First. We're the area's only walk-in clinic for sprains, strains, and breaks. Midwest Ortho First at Midwest Orthopedic Center. Proud to be the viewer's choice.
Suscríbete al canal de Nuestra Señora de Notre Dame para que puedas ver todos los juegos. No te lo pierdas.
Asking you about the YouTube channel. What do you think?
It's great. It's great. I love the YouTube channel.
Don't let your bones, muscles, or joints slow you down. At Midwest Orthopedic Center, we're experts at helping people of all ages relieve pain and restore function so you can get the most out of life. Midwest Orthopedic Center, proud to be the viewer's choice.
We wake up and it's just, wow. I'll be kidding. And they're really lucky. I don't think they're coming in.
All right, folks, we're back for the second half here between the Raiders of Bloomington High School and your Notre Dame Irish. My name is Jim Lynch. Alongside me is my partner, Mike Plunkett. Coach, what do you think we're going to see here in the second half?
I think just a lot of the same, just trying to execute things a little bit better. It wouldn't surprise me if Bloomington didn't come out and maybe try to put a little full court pressure on us, particularly after makes.
Good deal.
And maybe they may switch that up a little bit. They've got the athletic ability to do it. Maybe they're just trying to, in the first half, try to prevent some foul trouble, early foul trouble in the game. So I'm sure Coach Whalen has said, be ready for a press at any time here.
Well,
we won't change things defensively, that's for sure.
Nothing will change for the Irish defensively. Starters on the floor for both teams: Griffin, Stevens, Spindle, Newsom, and Tillman for the Raiders. And then for the Irish, we have Teddy Dimler, Jacob Johnson, Tommy Graham. Pardon me, that was a nice move through the lane there from number 11, Jelani Stevens. But again, along with Graham, the last one, Lathan Somerville and Cooper Koch starting the second half here for the Irish. Oh, and Lathan Somerville again getting hit down under.
Yeah, the ball bounced around a little bit, and we had a couple guys just kind of making an attempt to get it and end up on the floor, and Lathan was there to pick it up.
Lathan said, thank you, I'll go right up with it. And now Tillman has picked up his third, and that'll be the team's first here in the second half. And Somerville will go to the line. Ball rolls around, and it goes down.
And this is going to be a big part of Lathan's game over his 4-year high school career. So he's going to have to be able to make free throws because he's going to get fouled an awful lot because he's so active, and he's more skilled than I thought he was at this point coming in.
He's quite a talent, and he knocks down both free throws. Gets the Irish going here in the second half. And again, here comes the pressure from the Irish. Newsom with the ball, swings it up to Stevens. Stevens gets it over to Spindle. Spindle looks inside, gets it back to Newsom. Newsom drives right side, goes up high off the glass, and good. Number 25, Nico Newsom, good for 2. Cooper Koch gets hammered by number 10, Marcus Griffin, and that'll be Griffin's second foul, team's second. Cooper pops up, looks like he's okay, and the Irish will get back to work with Ted Dimler inbounding to Jacob Johnson. Johnson dribbling left with his right hand, I like to say that. Swings it to Dimler. Dimler gets it down to Koch. Koch to Graham on the baseline. Graham kicks it out to Dimler. They swing it, and it's poked away by Newsom. Here comes Newsom. High and good. Deacon Newsom going high off the glass again, gets his second bucket of the second half.
And again, there's a little bit of that pressure I thought they might throw at us just to see if they can speed us up.
It looks like I think we're going to have a blocking call here on number 25. That's Nico Newsom's second foul, team's third. Three quick fouls here in just a minute and a half for the Raiders. Ball comes in to Koch. 3 ball is off the mark, but there's Somerville hustling after the ball. What a great pass inside to Cooper Koch from Lathan Somerville. And Koch gets his first bucket here in the second half. And again, great pressure from the Irish.
It just, mentally as much as physically, it just wears on you. You just get tired of it after a while.
So here comes the Irish, and you can see Teddy Dimler and Jacob Johnson talking right in front of us. It was picked up by the mic, just discussing what they want to do right here. Dimler drives, gets a tip back, 3 balls off the mark, long rebound, and it'll go to the Raiders. That's one thing I've noticed, Coach, is that the Irish are always talking.
And again, I've said this before, and I continue to say it. If you come into the boys' practice, it's a loud place. It's loud because of the kids, not so much the coaches.
Right.
Of course, coaches can't have their moments.
Well, the coaches, I've noticed they have to be exceedingly loud just to be heard in a practice.
Yes, because these kids do talk.
And there's Nico Newsom continuing to make his mark here in the third quarter. He's got 7 on the quarter, the only 7 for the Raiders. Ted Dimler goes to make a spin move, gets halfway through and kicks it out to Koch. Koch's pass is tipped. He gets his own deflection. Dimler swings it to Johnson. Johnson for 3. And that'll be Johnson's 3rd 3 here of the game. And the Irish will take a 30-second timeout. The Chat here with a 13-point lead with 5:22 left here in the third quarter. I would say the Irish coming out with a nice third quarter, although Nico Newsom's doing everything within his power to keep his team in it.
And I'm sure that's what that timeout was about. What are we going to do defensively to counter some of the things that are happening? But Newsom, again, he's a talent. He's a nice player. Again, just a freshman. And sometimes just good offense is going to be good defense.
Newsom with 15 here in the third quarter. He doesn't have 15 in the third quarter alone. He's got 15 for the game. But we're not even halfway through the third quarter. They're going to have to figure out something to do to stop him. So Jaylani Stevens with the ball, dribbling up. Woolsey with high pressure. Zach Spindle with the ball. Sam Rink is in the ball game now for the Raiders. And here comes Jaylani Stevens. Drives, goes up high off the glass. It's off the mark. Rebound is tipped. AJ Tillman tries to rebound. He steps on the line, and it'll go to the Irish. And here come the Raiders with full court pressure.
Yeah, it looks like 1-2-2. If we're going to initially try to trap that first pass, which they did. So we just have to slow down. And it's so nice when you got guys on the floor who can handle the ball regardless of the position. I wouldn't even say they play positions, they're just their size.
And Somerville gets stripped from inside the lane, and they get it down to Zach Spindle. Spindle scores.
Yeah, Spindle, that's probably the 3rd time he's made a play on defense on one of our big guys doubling on the ball.
Graham with a nice shot inside the lane. Just can't convert, just missing the shot. The Irish control the rebound. Graham with the ball, gets it inside to Koch. Nice pass from Graham. He picks up the assist. Koch gets his 2nd basket of the quarter. And the Irish increase their lead to 13. Big pressure here right in front of the table. And Jaylani Stevens tries to go off of Koch's leg to keep the possession, but it stays in bounds. And there is number 14, Sam Rink. That's Rink's 1st basket of the game. And that cuts the lead to 10 for the Irish. Irish lead 40-30. We're down under 4 minutes here in the third quarter. Somerville gets the ball to Johnson. Johnson looks to drive, swings it to Woolsey. Woolsey gets it to Graham. Graham swings it to Woolsey, to Johnson. Out to Cooper at the 3-point line. Shots up, off the mark. Big rebound for Tillman with Somerville right there. I tell you, anytime you got Somerville closing on you for a rebound, you better get 2 hands.
Yeah, he earned that rebound. I was just looking at the Bloomington guards. These 2 young men, Rink and Spindle, have done really a nice job. Defensively, they disrupt some things. They take care of the ball, and they will knock down a shot. They've each knocked down a 3.
They're showing some patience here. Rink with the ball. He's given a little bit of room. He goes for 3 off the glass. Good. Zach Spindle for 3. That'll be his 2nd 3 of the game. And with that, the Raiders have cut the lead.
I think that point went up the wrong way.
Went up the other way. Yeah, I think they've cut that lead to 7, 40-33.
That's the medium timeout.
And that'll bring us to 3:01 left here in the quarter. A little late on the media timeout here. And just when we thought they were going toe-to-toe here, the Raiders have really kicked it up a notch.
They have. They've knocked down some shots. They've slowed things down. They've sped us up a little bit, which has created us to miss some shots. And again, talking about the guards, and we talked about these freshmen. Spindle's a freshman.
Right.
He's another nice player.
So it's again a lot of talented freshmen here on the floor, and which makes it fantastic because you just know that you're going to have 3-4 more years of great basketball here in the Big 12 Conference, and we like to see that. And hopefully next year, as things, well, we pray that they open up, and IHSA reinstitutes the postseason. And as I feel the buzz of March Madness right now, this is our March Madness, and Big 12 will have their conference tournament next weekend, and that'll be the equivalent of March Madness for these boys. This is what we're celebrating today. This is our March. This is our madness right now.
That's right. It's nice for everybody to have a chance to have some March Madness.
Absolutely. So it sounds like the Raiders are matching up man-to-man right now, as you can hear Coach Perkins calling for it.
So now we'll see how well we can adjust to get into our man-to-man offense. I think pretty well.
And a nice feed from Koch down to Woolsey underneath the basket. Woolsey hits it, his second field goal of the game. That's a nice pass from Koch. And there's a steal from Johnson. Johnson hustling down. Layup is good. Great steal from Jacob Johnson. He's got 5 on the quarter.
Not sure what Coach Whalen told him in the timeout, but whatever did.
Yeah, that's a quick
bottle
4 points.
that.
Yeah.
Things were kind of slipping away a little bit.
And again, great pressure from Dimmler, forcing number 15, Zach Spindle, into a travel right there. And with that turnover, we'll get number 42. Dixon Fraker will check in for the Raiders, along with number 1, Barry Preston. Getting their first action here in the second half. We're approaching 2:15 on the clock. Irish lead, 44-33. Johnson with the ball. Gets it to Koch. Koch looks inside. Nice pass to Woolsey, who had sealed his player, and draws a foul on number 15, Zach Spindle. Woolsey will go to the line to shoot 2 shots, and that's Spindle's first foul, team's 4th.
And that's what's nice with that versatility we've talked about, because even though Woolsey and Johnson are not, they're not tall, but they're so strong and so good with the ball that they saw where they had somebody that they were either equal size to or maybe a little bit bigger, and they know how to post them up, and we found them.
And again, Woolsey's ability to seal out a defender underneath the basket and call for the ball. Again, the great communication of the Irish. Charlie's going to let you know that he's open. Great defense again. A late call here by the official, and it's going to be on Woolsey or Koch. They're the ones trapping number 1, Barry Preston.
Yeah, I thought it was Dimmler.
I'm sorry, that was Dimmler.
Yeah, because Cooper was back.
Cooper was the one who scooped up the ball. My apologies. Dimmler gets called for the foul.
That's going to be a travel.
Travel violation on Jaylani Stevens. My apologies to Cooper Koch for erroneously throwing him in the mix there on the foul, but no, that was Ted Dimmler, and that's his second, team's first of the half. Koch with the ball, gets it to Woolsey, to Dimmler. Ball goes inside to Koch. Koch looks to get the work, dribbling in. Nice spin move, jump shot, turnaround shot, good for Cooper Koch. He's got 6 on the quarter.
That shot right there is basically unstoppable.
Right.
If he perfects that, you cannot stop that shot.
Great defense from Koch underneath. Tips it away, almost gets the rebound, just can't quite save it. Koch's reach there, you not only saw it on the turnaround, which you absolutely can't block, he almost saved that in the upstairs stands right here and just lost it on the fingertips.
Yeah, he did everything but just couldn't come up with it, but great play on his part.
So Preston swings it to Rink, gets it to Stevens, over to Spindle, back to Stevens. Stevens shoots the 3, rims in and out. And there's Dillon, who's checked in for the Irish with the rebound. Koch looks to drive, loses the handle on it, but there's Woolsey to scoop it up. Koch was met with a lot of contact there, no call. But there's Teddy Dimmler with a lane to the basket, drives hard, goes up, gets 2.
And out of that timeout, we've scored 8 points in a row, and that's exactly what you want to see as a coach.
Absolutely.
Our defense picked up a little bit.
And here it is again with Dimmler with another steal. Charlie Woolsey goes hard to the basket, gets fouled hard, and that looks like that's going to be on Barry Preston. That'll be Preston's first, team's 5th, and that was called on the floor. And so we have A.J. Tillman checking back in for the Raiders, along with number 32, Carson Ryan. I believe he's getting his first action on the day. For the Irish, number 20, Tommy Graham, checking in for the Irish. Ball comes into Dillon. Dillon for three. It's good. Owen Dillon getting his first field goal of the game. He now has 5 with his 2 free throws from the first quarter. It's good to see Dillon get that hit.
And he shot that with a lot of confidence.
Right.
He had no hesitation.
Boy, they got that pass over Tommy Graham through the lane. Tommy
I thought that was coming to me.
Careful, folks. Sorry,
Great
we almost
play
had
by Dillon.
Dillon
just come up with that ball.
Unbelievable steal right in front of us. We almost had about 3 players in our lap, though, but their control is a lot better than mine. And there is Ted Dimmler for 3 right at the end of the quarter. That was incredible.
So we get a timeout up 40-33, and we score 14 in a row. Now it's a 21-point game, and it just is what this team can do. And you just look so much better when you make shots. We say that all the time, but we just got in the flow, made some shots, and really right out of that timeout, it was just a couple good defensive plays. We found Woolsey alone, and then Johnson with the steal, and that kind of opened things up for us.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Peoria Notre Dame cheerleaders. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, that's the Peoria Notre Dame cheerleaders doing an incredible job here every home game, and again, they're doing their best, their talent, their passion to a nearly empty house by design, and how wonderful that is for all of us who are here in person, and we hope you're enjoying it at home over the live stream.
And what's nice for the girls is they can go home and watch these games, and they can see themselves, critique themselves a little bit, and just an opportunity just to watch yourself perform. You don't often get that.
So that was a 23-point quarter for the Irish. They, as Coach just said, increased their lead by 21 points. And we'll get things going here for the Irish.
Now they're back into a 2-3 zone right now. It's like they're really packing it in.
Which could spell trouble if the Irish start hitting some shots. Ball comes in. Dillon for 3. It's good. Owen Dillon getting his second 3 of the second half. A.J. Tillman for 3. Ball's off the mark. And that's Barry Preston with the rebound. And the Raiders are going to get called for being on the line. It'll go back to the Irish. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got number 12, Dom Taylor, checking in for the Irish.
And like we said last game, it's just nice to see Dom back playing.
I tell you, passionate leader for the Irish. It is so good to see him here. And he's an incredible talent for this Irish. Ball comes in to Taylor on the baseline. He looks, swings it out to Woolsey. Woolsey for 3. Just off the mark. There's Dillon with a great rebound. And again, there's Graham, gets it off of Dom Taylor's foot. Raiders look to corral it and couldn't hold on to it, and out of bounds it goes. That was an interesting sequence.
That was. First of all, the shot by Woolsey I thought was down. That was right there.
That was a pretty shot. Here's Taylor. Oh, I thought Dom was going to let it go. Dom looks to drive, swings out to Woolsey. Woolsey gets over to Dimmler. Dimmler inside to Dillon. Out to Woolsey for 3 again. Wow, he is about as close to being in as possible without it dropping.
Yeah, he's not missing them bad.
No.
They're not bad misses.
So the Raiders will inbound. Dimmler giving a little pressure. Preston with the ball, swings it back to number 14, Rink. Rink back to Preston. Ball's tipped, and Dillon just with a little too much. I'll just say to be nice, a little too much affection on the play.
Yeah.
And gets called for the foul.
Just a split second late on that, or else he's got a layup or a dunk at the other end.
And number 14, Joseph Williams, checking back in for the Irish. And number 32, nope, Elliot Lynch almost checked in for the Irish, but he'll be back in on the next buzzer. That's a great move from number 1, Barry Preston.
That was a great finish. We mentioned before, he's just a strong young man.
He is.
And
strength, speed, and the ability to finish.
Yes.
Tommy Graham with the ball down in the corner for the Irish, feeds Joseph Williams, goes back to Dillon for three, just off the mark, and that's a nice rebound for number 25, Nico Newsom. Newsom with the ball. Gives it to Preston. The ball is tipped, and out of bounds it goes. So, as we mentioned before, Lynch checks in for number 20, Tommy Graham. And here come the Irish. We're approaching the 6-minute mark. The Irish lead 57-35 over the Raiders of Bloomington High School. Dimmler gets it to Lynch. Lynch inside to Taylor. They feed Williams, and Williams with it. Oh, there's a great look, and Williams almost finished just off the mark. Newsom with it, gets it to Preston. Preston, nice move over to number 14, Rink. Shots off the mark, and the putback there for number 25, Nico Newsom.
Just continues to add to his totals. He's played a nice game tonight.
So Dimmler with the ball, swings it to Dillon. Dillon dribbles left, gets over to Lynch in the corner. Corner swings, Lynch swings it back to Dillon. Dillon back to Lynch, to Williams. Williams with a nice move inside. Great left. Ball's tipped. And here come the Raiders back the other way. Barry Preston swings it back out. Gets it to Nico Newsom. Newsom now down in the corner. They swing it. Rink for three. Off the mark. Tillman up strong, and he's fouled. A.J. Tillman goes up hard, and it looks like Lynch is going to get him. And Elliot Lynch picks up his first. It'll be the team's third, and A.J. Tillman will go to the line to shoot 2 shots. Tillman hits his first, and number 11, Jaylani Stevens, will check back in for the Raiders. That's Tillman's first basket, first point here in the second half, and he's certainly somebody that they needed to get more involved. Number 42, Dixon Fraker, has checked in for the Raiders, giving A.J. Tillman a break. And at 4:53 here in the fourth quarter, we'll take our media timeout. The Irish have an 18-point lead, 57-39 over the Raiders. Coach, thoughts as we head into the final stretch here of this game?
Well, you talked about Tillman just getting these first points of the second half, and really part of that again is just our defense. We take things away on the inside. Any points you get around the basket, you've earned playing against the size that you're going to face it with our team. And we've just we got on that run, and it just kind of got them sped up a little bit, and they were launching some threes, and then we were getting long rebounds from the threes, and again, I think that for them to have a chance, 18 points 5 minutes ago, not impossible, but it's a task. But to cut into this, they've got to get guys like Tillman a little bit more involved in this game. But our defense doesn't let that happen.
So the Irish will inbound. Joseph Williams inbounds it to Teddy Dimmler. Dimmler brings it up. Gets it inside to Taylor. Taylor to Lynch. Lynch back to Dimmler. Swings it over to Dillon. Swings it over to Taylor. Taylor to Lynch. Lynch back out to Dillon. Taylor drives. Kicks it out to Dimmler. Dimmler for three. Off the mark. There's Williams with a nice rebound. Goes up hard and gets fouled hard. Great work by Joseph Williams. He just has the innate ability to find that ball.
He scraps around the basket with the big guys, and he's not the biggest kid on the floor, but he's got heart.
That's Dixon Fraker's second foul, team's 6, and Joseph Williams is at the line to shoot 2 shots. First free throw is good for Williams. And number 30, Corey Severe, is checking in for the Irish. Seeing his first action today. Williams has another free throw, which is good. Preston with the ball, looks to drive, kicks it out to Rink. Long shot for Stevens. Bank good. The bank is open late tonight, Coach. Jelani Stevens with his first points of today. I'm shocked.
I guess they all count. You know, Stevens has made some really nice moves around the basket. Just hadn't had anything falling for him. So it's nice to see him get in the book.
Oh, and Lynch goes up, gets blocked by Stevens, and we're coming back the other way. Ball goes cross court. Barry Preston for three. Off the mark. Lynch with the rebound. Gets it to Dimmler. And here come the Irish.
Now it's again a matter of let's take care of the ball. Let's get a good shot. If you don't have a good shot, pull it out and reset things. And you just want to finish the game on a positive note. Continue to do things the right way.
Severe for three. Off the mark. And there's Joseph Williams again, hustling after it. 3-ball for Dillon. Good. Number 23, Owen Dillon, with his third three of this half. And that extends the lead to 42 for the Irish. Jelani Stevens, jump shot. Lynch tips it to Dillon. And we're approaching 2:40 on the clock. Irish lead by 20. We got a substitution timeout here. We got Ryan Ringenberg and Lucas LaHood checking in for the Irish.
I would say Coach Whalen now, you know, we're a minute and a half after the last time we talked and said, you know, if Bloomington's going to get back in this thing, they got to do this. Well, in that stretch, we open it up just a little bit.
Right.
And I think he feels pretty comfortable with this lead right now. And rightly so. The kids have played really well. And we've got a few guys here. You know, you see Somerville and Koch who are going to be playing good minutes in the varsity game tonight, so you want to make sure they're well rested.
Right. So, folks, 2:37 left here in the fourth quarter. Notre Dame leads 62-42 over Bloomington High School. We've got Ringenberg, Scott Anderson, Corey Severe, Joseph Williams, and Lucas LaHood in for the Irish. For the Raiders, we have Sam Rink, number 24, Deontay Lewis. On the far end, we've got, looks like number 11, Jelani Stevens, still in. I mentioned number 42, Dixon Fraker. And my view is blocked, but I think number 32, Carson Ryan, is in for the Raiders. I believe I covered both teams there.
I think you got him. 32 is in. I just did see him. Try to catch him on the screen, but that's hard to see sometimes as well.
So LaHood with the ball, swings it to Joseph Williams. Williams looks to drive, kicks it out to Severe. Severe inside to LaHood. LaHood gets it down under to
Great
Williams,
pass by LaHood.
And it looks like Joseph Williams gets fouled. And we're going to the line shooting 1-1. That foul was on 32, Carson Ryan. And we've got some subs here for the Raiders. Number 3, Griffin Holiday. Number 22, Cordell Becker. And I think the third one is number 30, Alexander Bikofi, has checked in for the Raiders.
I'd love to be part of this conversation. Ringenberg and Severe they're smiling, they're laughing, and that's what it's supposed to be about. This is a game. You're supposed to have fun.
First, number 22, Cordell Becker, I did mention him, has checked in. First free throw is good for Williams. Second free throw is good for Williams. He's 4 for 4 here in the fourth quarter. And number 15, Christian Zeller, has checked in for the Irish, seeing his first action tonight. We're approaching 140. Irish lead 64-42. Cordell Becker with a nice move underneath the hoop, just goes far. And that's a nice rebound for Carson Ryan. No, Carson Ryan shot. Cordell Becker rebounded. And I'm not sure, was there a foul call there?
I don't know if they called
jump ball, I think, maybe. No, yeah, it was a
yeah,
jump ball.
They switched possession. It was a jump.
And number 2, Trey Thompson, has checked in for the Raiders. Thompson with the ball, dribbles around, swings it to number 30. And the ball goes out of bounds. And we have number 21, Tayshawn Ruffin, checking in for the Raiders. Giving Deontay Lewis a breather. And Ryan Ringenberg will bring it up. Ringenberg looks to drive. Kicks it back
Great
to LaHood.
pass.
LaHood with a nice jumper off the mark. And there's Zeller with a big rebound. Just loses a handle on it. LaHood hustles after it. Sevier swings it to Anderson. Anderson to Zeller. Just off the mark. Zeller's shot just fell short, but great hustle all around. Ringenberg with a nice steal. It's batted around. There's Anderson. Gets it. He goes up strong. Layup is good for number 24, Scott Anderson. Anderson's on the board for the first time tonight. Great work there by the Irish with the pressure at the half-court mark. Kofi with the ball. Swings it to number 21, Ruffin. Ruffin looking to drive, not finding much room. Kofi with it, wanting to do the same. Finds a little opening, attacks. Defense, great defense by LaHood, sealing and walling off Kofi, and shot doesn't drop, and here comes Ringenberg just looking to kill the rest of the time. 5 seconds left on the clock, and Ringenberg again will just kill the clock here. And folks, that'll do it here for the sophomore game. Notre Dame 66, Raiders 42. Nice game for the Irish today, Coach. Your thoughts?
Well, when it got to 40-33 and Bloomington had a little momentum going, we call a timeout, and from that point on, we outscored them. What was it, 26-9? I think is what happened at the end, if my math is right. And I think it was just a matter of we lost a little focus and we had to regain that. Bloomington tried to come out and put a little pressure, speed us up a little bit. We made a couple plays defensively, nice plays, and got us back in the where we settled down a little bit. And from that point on, we basically controlled the game the rest of the way.
So, folks, it was a great game here for the Irish. We're going to run through some stats here before we take a little break before the varsity game. And again, these are unofficial stats, but as we look at the Raiders here for the game, I've got Barry Peterson with 2 points, and but a heck of a ball player there. He's a force to be reckoned with, strong player, and had a nice game there. Dixon Fraker with 2 as well. Going down the line, Jaylani Stevens everywhere on the court. Only had 3, but that 3 doesn't certainly, as I'm reminded often by kids that I coach and kids in my house, that points are the only stats that we count. Jaylani was all over the stat board, but only with 3 points, and certainly an incredibly talented ball player. Yeah,
made a difference on defense for him, and we had to know where he was at all times. So we did a good job on him. He made some nice moves in the lane. The ball just didn't fall for him, but he's a good player. He played a very nice all-around game.
And then as you go down the line, I have Zach Spindle with 8, 2 threes and another bucket. Very talented ball player, a great guard, a freshman guard for the Raiders. Sam Rink with 3 there in the second half. That combination, Sam Rink and Zach Spindle, very talented duo there for the Raiders.
Did a nice job. The two of them together, they look to double team some on defense. They just create some havoc for people on defense, and they give them a little bit, there's, again, we've talked about the talented freshmen, and Spindle being one of them, and Rink, a nice-looking sophomore. So I think Bloomington, they're looking at some of these young kids and saying, we're going to be okay.
And then we have to talk about A.J. Tillman, who had a very nice game. Some foul trouble early on kind of slowed him down, but he had 7 points. 5 in the first, 2 in the second. I thought they would have got him more involved there in the second half, and certainly not criticizing Coach Perkins in any way. But if you're a big man, it's tough to get involved against the Irish, because it's hard to penetrate to get that ball inside.
It is, and we have kids who have played, as you know, who have played with or against him.
Yes.
Over the years, they know what he's capable of doing, so
Absolutely.
They made an effort to focus on him and not let him do what he can do.
And then, of course, we've got to mention, without a doubt, Nico Newsom, who is an extremely talented ball player all over the court today, both sides of the court, defensively, offensively. What a talent.
He's good. Just a freshman. He did a lot of things well, and he ended up with 16 points, and he earned them. We guard people. He earned those 16 points, but he's a nice player. Looking forward to seeing him play down the road.
Absolutely. Now, on the other side, almost everybody on the Irish side touched or scored. Teddy Dimmler with 10. I have Jacob Johnson at 11. Joseph William hitting 4 free throws in the fourth quarter for 4. And correct me if you have anything different here, Coach. Tommy Graham with 2. But again, Tommy Graham, you say 2 points and probably had near 10 rebounds, probably anywhere from half a dozen forced turnovers. Tommy Graham, you don't count him by points alone.
You don't measure his game by the number of points he scored. You watch a game and the coach is going to look at that and just say, every game you know what you're going to get with Tommy Graham, and it's usually all positive.
Charlie Woolsey's another one like that. He had 4 points, but Charlie Woolsey creates such havoc on defense and creates on offense as well by with assists or creating openings for his teammates, whether it be in the lane or out on the perimeter. 4 points is certainly not you do not judge Charlie by 4 points alone. Owen Dillon with 11, 9 alone in the second half off his 3 threes. Scott Anderson with a great layup there at the end. Cooper Koch, 6 points in the third quarter. They talk about a prolific player. He, again, created amazing opportunities for his teammates in the first half. Then in the second half, decided to put the ball in the hole. He scores 6 in the third alone, gets 8 total on the game. Having Lathan and Cooper here for today's sophomore game can be a game changer just like that.
Yeah, it's fun to watch those two play together, against people their age, because we've been seeing them play against older players. And Cooper shows just such skill with the basketball. He handled the ball. When he was in the game, he handled the ball. It seemed like the majority of the time he was in the game, and he did it very well. And when you get an inside-outside punch, and who knows how tall he's going to end up being. He's 6'7", 6'8" right now.
Not even close to being done, if that's my thought. And him combined with our other freshman phenom, if I will, Lathan Somerville, who had 14, who could not be stopped inside. More and ones than I can count, but neither of them are done growing.
No, they're
that's the kicker. And if you combine that with the two of them with our other 4 freshmen playing on this sophomore team, Dillon could still be growing, Lynch could still be growing, Dimmler, Graham. Who knows where they're going to stop? And Lord help us when they do.
Yeah, we may have. I remember back when I was working at Peoria High School and we played against Chicago King when King had their 2 7-footers. They went 7-1 and 7-4 in a high school game. That was Rashard Griffith and Thomas Hamilton.
Oh, absolutely.
And they also had some other players with them. That's the biggest high school. We ate with them after the game. Brought them in a shootout, ate with them, and you're in the same room with them. You don't realize how big they are until you're right next to them. And these are high school kids. Well, we may have the biggest team in the state since that team.
Right.
But in another year or two, with if these kids continue to grow.
Keep rolling. Well, folks, it was a fantastic game here, and we certainly can't take anything away from the other contributions here. Sevier played a great game, and Lucas LaHood mixing up inside. Lynch had a couple of nice rebounds. Dom Taylor moving the offense around, and great defense from him as well. Ryan Ringenberg certainly there at the end, showing great hustle here and creating some half-court tension and havoc, forcing a turnover. It was a great game all around. For these Irish, and again, seeing Christian Zeller in there, shot fell short, but again, Zeller's got such a great shot. He's going to be back out there, knocking down shots here before long. So again, we got the varsity games coming up here in just about 10 minutes. But great day for the JV. I would be just a terrible person if I didn't thank everybody here for our JV game. We've got Val Schiefling and Pat Armstrong keeping us safe and sound on security. Alona Dawson and Tally Sevier. Although our dance team didn't perform here for the JV game, I got to thank Tally every time we've got a game because our dance team is so talented. John Cummings on the big mic. We're on the small mics.
That's right.
But John Cummings on the big mic. Dave Kenny on the scoreboard and the clock. We've got Doug Simmons being our official scorer today. On our camera today, and our technical director, Brian Simmons. And then our other, although Mike Bair's not here, getting our soccer team ready because I believe they kick off their season Tuesday.
They do play Tuesday, the home game Tuesday.
Absolutely. And then our assistant director and our table director, none other than Eamon Lynch, doing a phenomenal job helping out here and making sure that Brian Simmons feels safe and sound, that our commentators here will not go awry. But I think I've covered everybody here. Don't forget Tony Mullins, who's on our stats board. But folks, that'll do it here for my partner in crime here, Coach Plunkett. My name is Jim Lynch. Can't thank you enough. We'll be back shortly. That'll end the JV broadcast, and we'll get another one for you here in just a couple minutes. See you soon.